What we're going to be covering in this video is lesson 3.8, the ViewController Lifecycle. We're just going to be walking through the actual application that gets created during this lesson. What that application is going to do is we're going to go ahead and build an app that prints messages to the console describing each of the lifecycle methods as it is called. So let me go ahead and create a new Xcode project. So I'll go ahead and click on that. It'll be a single app project and I will call it Lifecycle. Again, I want to uncheck use core data, include unit test, and include UI test. So I will just go ahead and click on next and click on create. And that'll go ahead and create my application. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the main storyboard first. And the first thing I'm going to do is under my view controller scene, I will select my view and I'm just going to change the color of that so we can tell when our application has actually launched. So I'll just select a light blue. If you want to know what class controls your view controller, you can go ahead and click on the view controller up above, and you can go ahead and click on the identity inspector, and what that shows, it shows the actual class that is controlling that view controller. So if you want to open that class up, you could just click on the little arrow and that will open up our class. The first thing I want to do is our ViewDidLoad method function is the first function that gets called. So I will go ahead and write a print statement in here. It'll just be ViewController, and it will be ViewDidLoad. Okay, so when the view loads, we should see this message, or when the function gets called. So we'll go ahead and run our simulator. And it is coming up. And it comes up, and down below our message gets displayed. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and add print statements to the other lifecycle methods that get called automatically. Those are the view will appear, the view did appear, the view will disappear, and the view did disappear methods. And we're going to be overriding each one of those functions. So let me just go ahead and start writing my func. And what it will be is view will appear. I'll go ahead, double check, click on that, and I need to go ahead and override, so I'll just insert my override. And then what I'm going to do is, first thing I need to do is I need to call my super, so I will call super will appear. And what we're passing in to that method is an animated property. It requires the animated property. So I'll just go ahead and specify that. And then after that, I will just go ahead and write my print statement, view controller, and view will appear. Okay, and I am going to do that the same thing with the view did appear function. So let me just copy and paste what I have up above. I will go ahead and change to view did appear, and then down below call the correct super view did appear, and then update my print statement. Okay, so we will go ahead and run our application. And we will see what happens here. So what we have down below is we have our ViewDidLoad, our ViewWillAppear method, and then finally our ViewDidAppear method function gets called. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and add our ViewWillDisappear and ViewDidDisappear functions. In order to do that, we need to go ahead and actually transition from one view controller to the next view controller. So in order to do that, we're going to go ahead and add a tab controller. So I will go back to my main storyboard. I will go ahead and select my view controller, click on editor, and we're going to go ahead and embed that in a tab bar controller. So let me decrease the size of this down to 50. So we will go ahead. So now we have our first view controller. And what I'm going to do next is I am going to go ahead and add in another view controller to my scene. So let me just go ahead and click on view controller. I'll go ahead and drop it into my project. Let me just decrease the size of this a little bit. I'll select that one. Select my first one, and what I want to do is I want to control click down to my second view controller. We want to create a relationship segue view controllers. So I will go ahead and do that. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and select on that view and change the actual color to the background just so we can see a transition. We'll change it to a yellow color. And I will move it over. So the next thing we need to do is we need to create a view controller class for the second view controller that we've added. So I'll just click on Command N, and we want to select Cocoa Touch class. I'll click on Next, and what we're going to call it is second view controller, and we'll click on Next, and we will click on Create. So now we have the view controller method there. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and add the specific methods from our view controller. So instead, the first thing I need to do before I do that is I need to go ahead and override my view will disappear. And I will go ahead and fix that. And then I'll print in my super view will disappear. And we'll pass in animated, and then I'll go ahead and add in a print statement. Make sure I spell animated correctly. View will disappear, and then I will copy and paste that. And we will go ahead and override our view did disappear. So we will go ahead and update. and update. Our view did disappear, so now we've added those functions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste all of these functions into my second view controller. So I will just delete the class in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the print statement to second view controller. Okay, so I've updated those. I'm going to go back into my first view controller, and I'm just going to update that to first. That way we can distinguish them a little clearer. Okay, we need to update one more. Okay, I think we're ready to run. So we'll just go ahead. Oh, the last thing I need to do is on my second view controller in my main storyboard, I need to go in and select that second view controller, my second item scene, and select the item, and I need to change my class. So I need to change it to my second view controller. So if I click on that class, the second view controller comes up. So now we will go ahead and run. Go ahead and stop. Build succeeded. App comes up. So our first view has loaded up. We have not done anything yet, so in order to make our first view disappear and our second view appear, I'll go ahead and click on my second item in my tab bar. So what we see now is we have our second view controller, view did load, view will appear. Then we have our first view controller, view will disappear, view did disappear, and then finally our second view controller, our view did appear. So that just kind of walks you through the life cycle. Let me go ahead and click back to the first item. So again, what we're going to see, if we scroll on up, so our second view controller did appear, our first view controller will appear, our second view controller will disappear, our second view controller did disappear, and now our first view controller appeared back. So this application just kind of walks you through when the various functions get called when you're changing between views and how the actual view controller life cycle works.